the way around. I'm not going to give you a score. I'm just going to say the Browns win or else. That's the best way I can put it. The Browns win or let's have some fun on Monday. No. I'm not being that guy. But the Browns, I do believe the Browns win. I believe the Browns win this game. When I say I think the Browns win decisively, I don't mean decisively like a 100-0. You know what I mean? Decisively means you were the better team, and I think the Browns will establish that. They're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball some more, and I just don't think the Raiders have the horses up front to stop the run. If they did, then, there's other issues. But as long as the Browns can get that off the track, then I think they control this game and they handle business, and we'll see. But I keep reminding people, even though the Raiders are not even getting 70 yards a game on the ground, they've got two guys who traditionally have done well, not just in their careers overall, but against the Browns. I'm telling you, Jones-Drew, look it up. He's had a couple of games against them, but you got to watch out for that. McFadden, again, like I said, I know he's under 300 yards, but he's still Darren McFadden, man. And if they run the ball on us, you're looking at Jacksonville all over again. So we'll see what happens. Looking forward to talking about all of that. We'll have John McMullen here from the Sports Network Monday. We'll have the aforementioned Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan talking about the Buckeyes. We'll talk about the Browns. We're going to talk about the World Series as well. Of course, getting back to action as the series now shifts over to the Bay Area. San Francisco is going to be the host. 8:07 tonight. Game 3, series tied at 1 apiece, and Jeremy Guthrie takes the mound. Former Cleveland Indian Tim Hudson on the other side for San Francisco. Let's see if this thing continues back and forth over the weekend. Tonight's a big one, though. As we said, that's all. I mean, obviously, you can always answer back. Game 1 was a big one, and then Game 2 was an answer back. But you always want to be able to try to grab that momentum when you're the home team. You want to try to grab that first one. And if you're San Francisco, you want to do whatever you can to win as many of these as you can and hopefully not have to deal with the madness that may come out. I'm kind of with Mike Brandenberry about the difference in the home field earlier and later as the series goes on. So they want to go out there and get this thing over with as much as they can. That's tonight, 8:07, first pitch for that one. Monday, we'll be talking about that as well, the recap of the games over the... Man, we got a ton to get into on Monday. You guys got a lot to watch this weekend, too. Great college football, baseball, World Series, not just baseball, the World Series. The Browns NFL slate this weekend, a ton of things going on, and I can't wait to get back. Something I wanted to mention, this was earlier. Somebody sent it to me during the one of the breaks, and I said, all right, we'll talk about it at the end of the show. And I know that this is relative because it's the same as a person who makes less money donating less money. But, man, if you're going to be filthy, stinking rich, at least when you make contributions to charity or to some type of something, at least make them significant. Did you guys see the story coming out here? Paul Allen, the owner of the Seahawks and the Trailblazers. Of course, he's a billionaire. He's a guy that helped found Microsoft along with Bill Gates. He has added another $100 million to his donation for several pieces of equipment being used in the Ebola virus contamination right now, and he's already put in $27 million previously, but he's just today committed another $100 million. I'm just saying, I get it. He's got it to give, but I've always said that, like in general, problems in the world, and I know people say, well, it's not their job, it's not rich people's job to save the world. I get it, but I've always said if all the people that had seriously, 1% of the people have 99% of the wealth in the world, but imagine if everybody that was a billionaire chipped in $100 million towards homelessness or whatever the problem is. I'm just saying, problems would get solved. A lot more problems would get solved because there's a whole lot of cash just sitting around creating more cash. Not that there's anything wrong with having cash, but man, when you got it, use it for good too. And that's so, like I'm saying, that's at least better than going, hey, Paul Allen's dropping $1 million. I mean, hey, if you've got it, drop $100 million. At least it's significant sounding, but that's some big dough right there. $100 million towards the Ebola contamination, which, by the way, even though it can't spread, it keeps spreading. Somebody in New York came up with it this morning. Headline was funny. It said, first case in New York. Officials say don't worry for fear of spreading. Like, okay, but the headline says first case in New York. So somehow it did get there. I'm just saying. I still think it's not the big thing that everybody, some people want to over-exaggerate it into. It's serious, but it's also being dealt with by the most advanced medical system in the world. Just keep that in mind. But that being said, there is a funny contrast in no worries, it's not spreading, well, except for this new place that it turned up in today. So that was one of those like Mad Magazine headlines. I just looked at it and said, really? But it said the same thing. You know what, though? Speaking of headlines that say the same thing, our girl Mary Kay yesterday, I'll end the show on this. She had an article that it was literally earlier in the day. I had seen an article that said Favre compares Austin Davis to now I lost my train, to Brady, and says he could be just like Brady. There was an article yesterday on Cleveland.com that all you did was change the name Davis to Hoyer. It was by Mary Kay, and it said Favre says Hoyer could be similar to Brady. And then you read the article, and I'm like, I know that headline sounds familiar. I read the article. Of course it sounded familiar, because all it was her referencing the other article that somebody else actually wrote. It was hilarious. She goes, well, the gist of the interview was about Davis from the Rams. He also mentioned Hoyer. But it was the same article, just flip-flopped. I said, copy and paste at its finest, baby. You gotta love it. So, quality journalism at its best. Hey, that's your Browns beat writer, everybody. And this is your sports fix, and we're wrapping it up. Guys, great show, great week. As always, man, next week we'll be saying great month. We'll be 10/12 of the way through this thing that they call 2014. Guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy baseball, basketball, high school football, all of it. College football, the pros. Come back on Monday. We're talking Browns, Buckeyes, World Series, Cavs, you name it. We got it. John McMullen, Dan Wismar in the house, and you. Same bad time, same bad channel, live Monday at noon, right here on the Sports Fix. We love you, Cleveland. Have a great weekend. Go Cleveland. We'll see you Monday, right here on the Fix.